there's one thing for sure, and that is that most of them lack any type of real fear when it comes to business. Um, I think I had a lot of fear. I would say now I have none. The reason that I have none is because I've built a network that gives me one hell of a safety net, right? I don't think there's any problem that I can encounter that I can't come out of because of the people that I have and know now within my network.
What's the best advice you ever received on a construction site?
Get out of the way.
That's great. What's your go-to safety tip for newbies?
Get out of the way, right? So it's the same thing with your car. You use your car to get you from point A to point B. Great. If you're using it for illegal street racing, bad choice, right?
Yeah.
Bad things are going to come from that. So it's the same thing with social media. If you're using it for positive things are going to come from it. And a lot of it you don't see coming.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of the Construction MF'ers. I am Scott Pieper, CEO and founder of Mobilization Funding, and I am excited today to talk to you about the dirt world, the asphalt business in particular. And we have an expert not only in the asphalt business, but also in podcasting, marketing. Great story, great journeyman, been in this business for multiple decades despite his young, wise age. Marvin, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. That's one of the best intros I've ever had. I like it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give everybody your full name is Marvin Joles. You own
Yeah.
multiple asphalt businesses and the Blacktop Banter podcast.
Yeah, man.
So to complete that intro, there we go. Well, thanks for
Yeah.
coming on, man. I really appreciate you joining us, joining me, and I'm excited to talk to you about a lot of different things. Can you give me just a little update, give the audience just like who you, a lot of folks probably know who you are, but maybe they can just kind of give a little background on how do you own two asphalt businesses and also have a very successful podcast? Like which are you? You know, which do you
Yeah.
do?
You got to be a little off your rocker to try to pull all that off. That's for sure. And you must not cherish free time at all. Like these are the prerequisites to pull all that off. But I didn't know that going into it. So started working when I was 12 years old, doing roofing. Um, Kind of paid my own way through school doing that, and bought all my essential FUBU clothes and everything else that a young man in the early 2000s and late 90s would wear. Um, yeah, so I did that, and that company did asphalt maintenance as well, but we didn't do it very often. And I my body was not going to be built for roofing my entire life, I can tell you that. But I love the entrepreneurship aspect. I would always ask the owner a lot of very variable questions about supply and demand, how the process is done, and then I got curious about how jobs are taken, how you get leads, and what you do. And I worked a job at in the wintertime. I worked a job at a gas station making pizzas, and I despised it. I was like, this takes zero talent, zero skill, and there's nothing I can do here with it. So, yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna own my own business and figure out how to do it. Started when I was 18 doing asphalt maintenance, but then still roofing and whatnot, supplemented with that. And then in the late 2000s, um, I started using social media. I was a big listener of Gary Vee at that time, and I realized if I showed my work, I'd be doing something different than anyone else had done. I'd been trying to put ads in a newspaper. I'd done all the traditional stuff, radio ads, phone book, all that stuff, and never really gained the traction that I needed with leads to really get into commercial work or do all these things. So I started using social media, and I would make videos for Facebook and YouTube at that time. Those are the only two outlets that I did. Where we are, we're in a very rural area in Wisconsin, and a lot of people here use Facebook because they're an older population, farmers, that type of stuff. We don't get into all the fancy stuff too much, and it really took off. And then what happened was, ironically, the asphalt industry, the community that is involved in it, started commenting on my videos. So they were my business page videos, and people started commenting on that. pretty soon I was asked by Pavement Magazine to get highlighted in the magazine. And then they asked me to write an article about using social media to grow your asphalt maintenance business. I did that. And then I was asked by the National Pavement Expo to come speak. So I went and spoke at the National Pavement Expo about using social media. And then it really started to implode in the, or explode on the comment section. And I realized like these videos are made for my customers. They're not for the community. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of friends in the green industry, and they had been in front of us on creating community and creating identities and quote unquote influencer marketing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just jumped off, and I had a program on Wiscoat called Wiscoat Wednesday, where I would go meet somebody who was an organization or a business within the community, and I'd do an interview. And they would tell me about their stuff. I'd tell them about my stuff. I would um, tag them in the Facebook post and their businesses, and it caught traction. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do that on the asphalt side, and I need a good name. I was like, well, Wiscoat Wednesday. How about we're talking about asphalt. Why not just do blacktop banter? And blacktop banter was born. I had 5 friends that was like, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but sure, I'll talk to you. And 5 turned into 16. And then next thing I know, I link up with my friend Matt over at Raised on Blacktop, who is creating a clothing brand. And they had sponsored a NASCAR truck. The driver of that truck reaches out and says, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast. Next thing I know, we got NFL players on. We got more NASCAR drivers on, IndyCar drivers. I got asked to go out to LA and consult on a movie where a guy's doing line striping. So things really started to take off. And pretty soon we got a lot of great partners from the asphalt world and manufacturers, suppliers, that type of stuff. Our videos on TikTok started getting millions and millions of views. The podcast goes out into 50 plus countries now. And dude, we're having a blast showing what we do in the asphalt industry and the people that make it up in our community. And I couldn't ask for a better career at this point. Still doing the asphalt work though. I'll still get out and the guys are preparing stuff right now for the season, but I'll still get out there and seal coat or crack fill or do whatever. I still go talk to clients and do sales and that type of stuff. So it's very, very fun for me to be able to do it all. It's a lot of juggling. My son is involved in the business and both businesses. He just did his first podcast last week. So yeah, we're having a good time, man. It's
That's
a good
awesome.
run. It's a good run.
Well, you know what I think is cool about listening, especially hearing your story as you just talked about it there, is like there's millions of business owners in construction that literally can resonate with exactly the scenario you are. But they're a roofer, cement, concrete, anything, right?
Yep.
Blacktop. And they're just out there filling cracks, painting stripes. And they're like, what am I going to do next? I'm just in this little rural town. I only have so many people. I only know these customers. I need to break into that customer. The way to break into that customer is let me get a job for them. I'll bid it low to get in, and then I'll work my way through, that all these traditional thoughts. And
Yep.
you didn't say any of that other than you started in the same place. And your path to not only having successful blacktop businesses, and if that's all you wanted to do, great, no problem,
Yeah.
it fed it. But taking the alternative approach by just showing yourself, showing your work, really selling yourself to a community of folks that are, like you said, older, right? They're on Facebook,
Hmm.
they're older. That's where they want to be. They all of a sudden saw this person they could trust. This person, like, well, I'm gonna fix my driveway. I want to give them a crack. That was like leaning into that uncomfortableness. I'm sure you weren't just all the time on social media
Dude,
if you were
I'm the biggest introvert
in
you ever
asphalt.
met, Scott. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm the biggest introvert you ever met. Uh, I grew up poor. I have dark skin. Was probably the darkest kid in my class, I guess, which already kind of pointed me in a different direction. And always was like trying to get accepted, right? So I always had a knack for being funny, which was good. I always got voted class clown, which was great. But that was also just trying to get people to laugh and people to like me and whatnot. And I was never really confident a whole lot, but I learned a craft. I knew that I was good at it. And I knew personally that I'm trustworthy. I'm going to do quality work. I'm going to be there for you, that I don't value the dollar over somebody thinking that I'm a good person. And I started just showing that in the social media and whatnot. And Dude, I'd go to the grocery store. I told you we're rural. I'm in the second largest population in my county, and there's 700 people. Second largest population in the county, 700 people. I'd go to a local grocery store, and you know everybody in that type of town, in that type of community. Everybody knows everybody. So I was really nervous when I started making the content because I was like, these people are going to think I'm crazy. They've never seen anything like this. But when I would go to the cities or I would go to the events, people were walking around with phones, recording content. It was common. And I was like, oh, this is going to be received very weirdly. But I knew it was the only avenue, right, for me to break through and make a difference. But I'd go to the grocery store 2 weeks later, finally, with my hood up like this, like trying to be like, no, maybe they don't know
Yeah.
it's me. Um, and somebody's like, Marvin. I was like, oh shit. They're like, hey, I seen Wisco Wednesday. I love that. Keep it up. And I was like, okay,
All
cool.
right.
All right. All right. And then, sometimes I would get into the comment section, which is brutal. Don't go there. Just stay out of it. Just post your stuff and walk away. And, people would be like, this guy doesn't know shit. Like he doesn't know anything. Well, I know the most where I am. Maybe I don't know. So then I was challenging people. I was like, well, then you make a video. You show me how to do it correctly then so I can learn how to do it. And that really started to get people besides myself making content in the community. And I started to learn more about my business. And to be honest with you, we created a mastermind almost in this community. My business started to grow because I learned new techniques. I learned how to job cost better, a lot of things from the community building and growing. So it was kind of wild, but yeah, dude, you were totally right. I was not the guy. I still don't think I'm the guy. I have imposter syndrome in the worst way. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not. Somebody has to be able to do this better than me. They have to.
It's a real thing, man. I was going to ask you originally when I was preparing for this, I was like, how did you grow the podcast? What was your thoughts and goals? But, why did it, was there anything that made it click, and listening to you talk about it, I mean, I know the answer now. You had no interest in making a huge podcast.
Mm-mm.
You didn't do it to do that. That wasn't the end goal. The end goal was to show your work, show people who you are, what you're doing in a different way, be unique. And then the cool part about doing that is you find out what happens next. And you just never know.
Yeah,
Um,
you never know, man.
and I love that. And of course the businesses are doing great.
Yep.
You understand more, you have a better interaction with customers, your interactions are different. I tell you all that because I know that's the case, because that's what's happened for myself too. And you and I are very similar in that way. I avoided all social media my whole life as they launched it. I didn't even get on. I still to this day have a personal Facebook account, but I don't only, it only got, I only got on there in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because somebody needed to have a Facebook personal account in order to have a business account. And when we started thinking we had to do something for mobilization funding 7 years into the business in 2020 to do it, I was like, oh, well, all right, I will, I guess. Mine's the cleanest. I don't have anything on it. And I just didn't get on it for that reason. And next thing you know, you have people calling you, oh, I watched this. I saw this. This is great. Hey, I've been,
Right.
watching all these things and I think you can help me. Can I talk to you about it? And you're like, whoa, whoa. And for a guy who spent his whole life in sales, you got to call people and prospect and warm up to, have like a little fake conversation to try to warm up. And then
Yeah.
it's this like kind of, it's like a salesy transactional type
Yeah.
conversation until it's not, right? You don't
It,
start with a relationship.
right.
The coolest part about putting yourself out there, as uncomfortable as it is, you have a lot more conversations that start as a relationship than start as a transaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's true.
it's cool, especially for a business, and your business and your team and your employees and everybody else. And then it works great in recruiting too. It's like all these extra benefits that you had no idea that we even existed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's the byproduct of using social media correctly. Um, it is fantastic. If you're using it, it's like anything else, right? Um, we hunt a lot here. If I use my rifle to hunt, it's a great tool. If I use it for other stuff, probably not, right? So it's the same thing with your car. If you use your car to get you from point A to point B, great. If you're using it for illegal street racing, bad choice, right?
Yeah.
Because bad things are going to come from that. So it's the same thing with social media. If you're using it for positive things are going to come from it. And a lot of it you don't see coming. But you hit the nail on the head with um, the byproduct of the relationship building. Like there's people who I never met before. I will come to an event and we've interacted on social media or whatever. The very first thing we do, big hug. They were like, "Oh, it's so good to see you." It's like, "I've never met you before."
You're
Great.
hugging
It's
me.
good to see you. Yeah, it's great to see you too. Oh, I seen your son was over here and did great at wrestling, Marvin. Yeah, yeah. Where is he here? Yeah, he's over here. Eli, right? They know their names or whatever. It's great to do that. It's the same thing in it before social media. There were certain people that you develop relationships with that you like to be around, and you can do that through social media. You can develop a relationship with people that you like to be around. There's also people before social media you knew within 3 seconds, I don't like this person. I'm not going to be around them. Don't need that in my life. Same thing happens on social media. You know right away, yeah, this is toxic. I'm not messing with any of that. We just try to be positive, man. We have our core values are painted on the floor at Wiscoat, and we bring it over here. The very first thing is be positive here. It's every single day be positive here. Being positive is a choice. I need you to make that choice if you're going to be around me every day, because
Yeah,
um,
no doubt,
you're
man.
like the businesses are doing great. If you mean that we encounter problems every single day because we're pushing all the time, yes, the business is great. Um, it's already going to be tough. Why be negative about it, right?
That's so true. So thinking about the podcast, it's, where you're at today, you're in, 50 plus countries,
Mhm.
70 million views, um, just a lot of success. Was it an even ride from the day you turned the first camera on? You just kind of accumulated this so many every month all the way through?
Dude,
What was the
it's been a
strategy?
while, Scott. Yeah, you said it earlier. I didn't have really a strategy. I really wanted to create community. I love talking to people. I love the fact that I can dive in a little bit and find a lot of parallels in everybody's life. If we really have a conversation, you find out everybody's a lot alike, and everybody has an interesting story. Um, what started was I was in my basement. I had um, once again, Gary V, right? He's like, hey, you can record a whole podcast on your phone using an app called Anchor, which no longer exists no more. Spotify bought it, turned into Spotify for podcasts or whatever. And I was like, okay, this makes it easy because I'm camera dumb. Even with all the social media stuff, all I ever used for the most part was my phone. I got a DSLR camera thinking, "Oh, dude, I'm going to make some great shots, take some great photos, do whatever." Once I realized I had to edit that shit, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And here I'm
Yeah.
spending thousands of dollars on this. I'm gonna go back to my phone and use it. It started that way. Started at a table that was in the basement where my office was at our new house, and then slowly I got a webcam. Slowly I got a mic so that it sounded better. I learned different things, and now you see the studio here, great audio, great video. But yeah, it had steady growth. Um, I believe we're still doing our thing. We're starting to dip into different construction spaces because of the podcast, and there being a lot of parallels in the dirt world. And then now NASCAR. We just had a meeting with NASCAR the other day. Um, they want to talk about blacktop and pavement, and they know that this is a big industry for that because they get their tracks done and everything else. So we're seeing growth in that way, in that direction. But it's been kind of yeah, it's been a steady growth. What happens sometimes, Scott, is like we will make the best piece of content. We're like, dude, this is gold right here, and we'll post that thing, and it'll get like 200 views, and we're like, dang. And then I'll post a video of crack filler getting put down on a piece of blacktop that we do every day, and that people can see anywhere in the summer, and it'll get 20 million views. And I'm like, and it's recorded with my phone and wonky, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like there's no rhyme or reason almost to it now. You do your best. Um, you do your best, man. And that's all you can do is like, I think I know what works. So I'm gonna keep doing that. And it will surprise you every time where you're like,
As long as
okay.
you're genuine, that's the key.
Yeah.
I think that's the real separator in good content that I watch from others. You could get a feel for it. How do you know it's genuine and wasn't produced or AI or whatever? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess the truth is you never do. You never know for sure, but there's a feeling you get. You start to know if
Yeah.
someone's genuine or not, and if you cater, if you follow that gut feeling, you could tell. And I think that's the most important thing is just being genuine. You can't be disingenuous consistently for a long period of time and be
No.
successful. That's for sure.
No.
Eventually, your true colors will crack and will through at one point, and then you're done. So
True.
I think that's the difference with you. Going into the asphalt business, what made you get into that business in particular versus roofing? You mentioned you're in roofing. You're like, I'm not
Yeah,
built for
man.
roofing, but
Yeah.
asphalt's not much easier than a hot roof, man. Hot floor, hot
Well,
parking
I'll,
lot.
I'll tell you something. If you fall on a parking lot, it hurts a lot less than falling off a roof. I can promise you that much. Been there.
Now you have a great point.
I'm not built for it, man. I was always thicker. I was always bigger. Was a lot bigger, and thankfully been on a nice journey with my boy Eli to get healthy, eat healthy, and be healthy. But yeah, man, did it when I was 12. It's hot, man. It's hotter on the roof than it is on the blacktop. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe because you're 20 feet closer to the sun. I don't know, but it's the black tar paper. It's the shingles. It's your feet always being at an angle or whatever. But yeah, I just was like, I can completely do asphalt maintenance by myself on driveways if I want to. So, a roof by myself, could I do it? I don't think so. Maybe a small one, maybe a shed or something. But I knew that I could do that myself, and I knew that I didn't want to be on a roof my whole life. It's a tough job. My mentor Jack, who was like a father figure to me, he roofed well into his 60s. He was built for it, made for it. I can never understand how a man did it that long. He did it his whole life. Um, but I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to go that track. So started getting into it. Mainly, like I said, because I could do it myself. The barrier to entry was pretty low. You can go buy buckets of sealer, right? You can buy a broom and buy a hand blower, a weed trimmer. You're in business. So that was part of it too. And I was a young man, dude, 19, 18. You don't need much. You hit 21, you need a little bit more money, but not a whole lot, right? So I was like, dude, this is totally doing it. And then got married, and then had my daughter Elizabeth, and that was the moment where I was like, okay, you can't play. We're not playing games no more, right? We gotta do something here because this kid's gonna depend on you. So I really started getting focused. That's when I really leaned into building a community and finding a community that could help me grow my business. I didn't study business, knew nothing about book work or, like I said, job costing, any of that stuff. My education in my career, my education, I would just say in general, really started when my daughter was born. All the other years before that, I was just going through the motions, I think.
The education wise, is there anything in particular you did that you made a conscious shift to?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I learned Think and Grow. I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is one of my favorite books. I really started to read a lot. I read more in my late 20s and my early 30s than I ever read in my entire life. I still don't read too much. I still read, but not as much now. But I learned very soon that I needed to find people that were farther along than I am, that I had access to. So people became my mentors without knowing it. Some of them I just followed along, I paid attention, and then some became my mentors and they knew it. Where I was like, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions very often. I need help with this. My business depends on it, and thankfully they didn't weren't like, you're a weird person, you're a weird kid. Go for it. So that was my biggest thing. My education came from finding mentors, finding people that became a mastermind group for me essentially without them knowing. I have a group of probably 10 close friends now that I call at any moment. I'll ask them all the same question because I want to get the average of the answer. And then I apply that to my business and my life.
It's awesome when you get 10 different answers in those cases, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah, having to judge through all that. Yeah,
I
great.
know. Dude, that book, Think and Grow Rich, is a real game changer for me too. Someone asked me like, why, Scott? What was so key about it? And there's a lot of things key about it. And for
Mm,
someone that's asking you that question, it's a hard hill for them to climb sometimes. But
yeah.
the thing I always tell people that don't have some aspect of where you're going to go with that book or where the book's going really is I always say it's if you have a feeling inside you that there's an innate oddness to the world of why things work or certain people, or you're like, man, like if you just studied successful people, there's some common themes and a lot of them.
Mm.
Whether they're quiet or you just get a feeling. I don't know how to describe it. For me, it was a feeling. Maybe
I'll,
other people don't. It's
I'll,
it's the keys to that. I think that book is really unlocks that, what that feeling is and where it's coming from.
I'll give you an analogy that I give people. Feel like I was blind up until I was like, okay, I need to figure out business. I need to figure out how to do this. I'm gonna look on the internet and figure out some books and figure out doing stuff. It's like, um, it was like I wanted you remember Legos used to come in those big buckets?
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
you were like building something you're like, oh, I need this piece. And you just dump the whole bucket out and it would be all over the floor. That's what it was like when I realized I need some information and I need education. It was like all of this stuff came all at once. I had to go through the process, which took a lot of years of sifting through the Legos to figure out what exact pieces I needed to build what I needed to build. And that came through books like Think and Grow Rich. Another book that is very essential to me is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. People are like, why is that your favorite book? It's a great book about what you're looking for is probably already where you are standing, right? So you go through this whole journey all the way and it helps bring you back to appreciate what you have from the beginning, right? Um, which is key later on because if you only read the first 80% of Think and Grow Rich, you're going to miss the last 20%, and the last 20% is the key to
Mhm.
everything. Like the 80% is the buildup, the last 20% is the key. And I feel like that's how business education for me went. I had all the pieces put together and built this thing, but then what do I do with it? And what does it mean? That's the last 20% of books like that. And for me, it's that thing. It's like dumping the whole thing of Legos out and trying to find the few pieces that you need to build what you need to build. It makes you be selective for sure.
Yeah, and then you have to have faith. Like you got to believe it before you ever see it. And
For
that's
sure.
part of the unlocked code, I think, is really
Hmm.
where it comes from. I'm going to change gears on you for a second. You have a lot of experience with a lot of things now. You've seen a lot of business owners in your community. You've been through a lot of business. You've had a lot of different business owners, entrepreneurs, successful leaders, unsuccessful leaders, all aspects. You've been to many trade shows and talked to folks. You've got your own mentors you just mentioned, people
Hmm.
farther along. Um, with that base and foundation, you've seen success in different measures, come in all different sizes, people, shapes, sizes, thought patterns. Is there any consistencies of traits or attributes that you find are either pieces of the puzzle that people that are successful are finding their desire and achieving it, whatever that may be? And I don't mean successful with money. I just mean they're happy, successful people. That could be wealthy too. That you think are attributes that are very consistent themes, and are there any that are requirements in your opinion?
Uh, yeah. So I like to call them power traits. And we're putting a list of those together. I've asked a few CEOs and people to be on the podcast just specifically for a power traits podcast because I'd love to write a book about it. Um, there's one thing for sure, and that is that most of them lack any type of real fear when it comes to business. Um, I think I had a lot of fear. I would say now I have none. The reason that I have none is because I've built a network that gives me one hell of a safety net, right? I don't think there's any problem that I can encounter that I can't come out of because of the people that I have and know now within my network. So that's a common trait. And I believe that it's a common trait for all of them, one or two ways. One, they're just crazy, man, and they just have no fear. They just go for it. Or they're like me. I'm a big thinker. They build that safety net with people and they make that happen. The other thing is they're dreamers. They're big dreamers. A lot of people, they believe, they have the faith and belief that it can be done. If there's hesitation in some part, it's very hard to get buy-in from the people around you. But if you can, a lot of them successfully portray their vision with firm belief to the people around them that are in their organization, and it becomes part of that culture. Everybody's moving towards one common goal. So, those are probably the three things. They move without fear. They have a clear vision that they believe in and can portray very well, and they have a great culture. Um, Sometimes what I've encountered is there are people who quote unquote have success business wise that don't have success in other areas. The most successful people that I know are good people all the time. There's some people who are good at certain things and can make things happen, but they're not good people all the time. I have no desire to be a successful businessman whom my employees and community don't like. I would rather be mediocrely successful and be liked and be seen as a good person all around. That's a hard thing to navigate nowadays, um, because everybody thinks they know everything about everybody because of social media, right? And people only show their highlight reel. That's a common kind of thing now. People show their highlight reel. People don't show what people say to them behind closed doors, or their reasons for doing this or not doing this. So I think just adapting the idea of being a good person all the time. You and I kind of spoke about it, holding yourself to a higher standard, um, is the right thing to do. So those people have those three traits, and most of the time have chosen to be a good person.
Yeah, you're right. And then their choices.
Hmm.
All of those things are choices. Ed Milet said something one time to us at a meeting that I heard, and it really resonated. It reminds me of something you just said. And he said, when you're casting that vision or that belief and you sound crazy or people are there and you just want someone to believe in you, he goes, what you need to understand is the people that are listening to you, they don't need to believe your vision. They don't need to see themselves in it even at the moment. They don't even need to understand it. They only need to believe that you believe it.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's actually really true, because I remember, like, I go back to like college sports, for example, like, you guys are going to be in the best shape of your lives. And by the end of this preseason, you're going to be able to do these things. And I'm like, hell no, man, that sounds terrible. Like, and I'm like, this sounds like it's going to be a lot of pain. But I remember thinking to myself, well, this cat believed it. I mean, I knew he believed it, and I didn't know what was in store for us, but I knew he believed it. The first time I had, the first mentor of mine, he said, you'll be able to do this, and this things. You won't be this scared of this anymore, or this fearful of that again. You'll be able to do all this. I promise you, if you just follow. This is after like 6 months of failure trying to sell this product that I didn't understand how to do. And I was like, well, I got nothing. But it took me at the point where I had to say to myself, like, what else do I have to lose? And I remember thinking, like, I believe this guy. I mean, like, I don't see how I'm going to do any of this, but I believe him. So I'll just do it. And I never knew how to articulate that. And I never even thought about those things until I heard Ed say it. And then you just said it, you have this dreamer and this vision, and, you just have faith that it's going to happen, and you don't necessarily need to know how, and you just go without necessarily a full plan. Another thing you said. So I agree with you on that. I think that is really the key.
Hmm. Yeah,
Definitely. For
it's one of the
anything.
best traits. Yeah, yeah. I'm blessed to be able to have friends in my life long enough now that I've watched them do that, right? And they'll say the same thing about me, but as I told you, I don't feel like I've done anything really. Just had conversations and observed, and then spoke about what I observed. But it's very fun to see, and it makes you a believer when you see people who believe achieve. It makes you a believer, and
Mhm.
I think that's why it's important to surround yourself, or at least observe people like that. If you can surround yourself with them, you're fortunate. And a lot of times where you and I met, that's where I meet people. That's where I meet them saying, I want to do this because they want to achieve something. They share their story with you. All of a sudden, they start making moves in that direction. And then you pay attention, you're like, they're really doing it. And it makes you a believer. And the more they get a little bit of success in their journey, they start to believe in themselves. And it's a wonderful thing to have in life. Um, I feel sometimes, you were talking about people who don't have that. I feel sometimes that's all people need is something to believe in. And a lot of people deny themselves that because they stay in the cycle, like the
Yeah.
hamster wheel, right? With simple gratification, which is counterproductive.
No, it's true. It's not an easy thing, man. And I think that, like, one of the things about Think and Grow Rich is it puts those thoughts in your head to, think about those things. I mean, like, you have to learn how to cut stuff out because it will, you've been around enough mentors now, like people farther along is a great way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that someone farther along than me said when I was very focused, and I think a lot of folks are, especially entrepreneurs, men or women, they want to be successful. Successful is going to be defined as a certain stage of business, a certain amount of revenue, employees, and certainly the income that comes with it. But this, a lot of folks will say, Scott, it's not worth it if you're a shitty husband and a terrible father.
Oh yeah.
You have to narrow down the things you're going to be that are most important to you, find out what they are first. And, then almost everyone would say your family, your friends, and my business. Okay, great. Well, then you don't have time for anything else at that moment. If those are the things that are most
Mm-hmm.
important to you, then you have to focus on those. And then, because again, if success on one end, but yet you're a horrible husband and a terrible father, you wouldn't be happy.
Right. Yeah.
No, you're right. So it's really hard. But those are the hard choices that you have to make along the way, of anything you're trying to do. But I think that's why that book is so great, because it explains that along with the other great books, but that one in particular helps.
Yeah. I think no one sets out to be a bad husband or a bad father, right? You get caught up. You feel like that box is checked. You're providing, doing whatever. And then you and I were talking about anxiety a little earlier, and then all of a sudden something makes you anxious, and then you realize the reason that you're anxious is because there's a problem there. And people, I will not use this phrase ever, but they talk about work-life balance. There's no such thing. It's a teeter-totter up and down and back and forth. And I'll spend 2 weeks consumed in business, and then um, all of a sudden realize, man, I haven't spent time with Elizabeth, my daughter. And I'll be like, okay, we're going to Galena, Illinois. We're going to the Airbnb this weekend. I'm checking this off. We're spending time together, throwing the phones in the truck for all day, 2 days, going fishing, doing whatever. I'll feel refreshed. They feel like they got some time with me. We made some memories. We're going to jump back in and go back to work. And they know what I'm doing is for them for the future. I think communication is the key all the way through from beginning to end. Even if things change along the way, which happened to me, communication is the key. Being like, hey, things are going this way or that way. And this is why I do this. This is why I do that. I'm fortunate in the way that I own my businesses. I can just bring the kids along. Liz will come with me quoting sometimes. We'll have great conversations. Eli drives that striping machine better than I do at this point. We have a blast out on projects, and it doesn't feel like work some days, which is good. But yeah, there's no balance to it. It's a teeter totter, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, in school, you're 100% right. I mean, there's been enough said about that if someone doesn't believe that yet,
They're crazy, man. They're
yeah,
crazy.
I feel for them, because that's a hard lesson to learn the hard way. If you
Yeah,
can learn that one without having to feel it, I encourage everyone to do that.
for sure. There's never enough time with your family. Never. There's never going to be. You're never going to feel like you checked that box. Never,
No,
because we all have a term here in life. It's a term period that we're going to be here. You're always going to wish you had more.
yeah. Is there anything you wish you told or you know now that you wish your younger self knew?
Yes, yes, yes. For sure. I think about this concept quite a bit, and trust me, daily more things come up that I say, shoot, I wish I would have known that back then. I wish I would have told myself more of that. Um, I think kind of what we've been talking about, the fact that um, it's possible to make something happen that you didn't think was possible. You're capable of becoming somebody who you probably never thought you'd be able to become. And you should relay that change and those things and your desires and your passions to the people close to you, right? So whether that's your family, it should be your family first, but if not, the people that are close to you in business as well, without fear. Just do it, man. It's like anything else. Just get it over with. Talk about it, solve the problem, discuss the change, any of it. Beating around the bush, or what I call dancing around the fire, um, doesn't do anybody any good.
Yeah, the time's going to go by no matter what. So you might as well get busy doing whatever it is you're going to do.
That's right, man.
That
That's right.
sun and moon are relentless. They're coming up and down no matter what happens in between. It is
Yep.
a
We
hard
we
fact of
what do we
life.
do? You and I made an analogy earlier about it being a leaky pipe. Well, leaky
Mhm.
pipe, if you don't fix the leak, guess what? It gets to the carpet gets soaked. And then guess what? It goes over to the drywall. Then it goes to the electrical. And then it goes to the foundation. Just fix the damn leak, man. Don't put a bucket under it.
Fix
Just
it.
fix the leak. Yep.
What's next for you in the podcast, man?
Oh,
What's your goal?
dude, we're super excited. We have some great partners that we've been having some conversations with. We're very excited about those. Can't say anything about those yet, but they're iconic brands that are all over the world. Very excited for that, and have some great content coming up with that. We recorded a lot of content, some great conversations as of late. We batched those up so that I can work in the summer months on my businesses, and in my businesses, I'm the guy that I have I I don't think I have any desire to not be in the field for my career. Whether I'm just there pointing and telling guys to go here, go there, whether I'm picking up a broom or helping them, I don't think I have any desire to. I watch a lot of guys do that, and um, they end up physically not being able to compete with people that are in the field and stay healthy and do a lot of things. So I want to do that. I want to stay active in the business that way. But for the podcast, dude, we're just going to keep doing what we do, Scott. And that's bringing the community together, having great conversations, highlighting the cool stuff. You and I were at Dirt World last year and they had those simulators.
Mhm.
Eli, my boy, got to mess with those over at World of Asphalt this year. I'm super excited about technology in our industry. Like, crazy, crazy. I get excited because it's solving problems that we didn't even know existed, right? Like there was just stuff where they're like, well, this is just the way it's been. And now people are like, yeah, it don't have to be that way. There's actually a better way to do things. And yeah, I'm excited about that. So we're going to highlight a lot of that stuff. We're hopefully going to be working with NASCAR more here in the future. I love those conversations and the science behind NASCAR, how those guys make everything click and tick
It's
within
amazing.
millimeters. It's nuts. So yeah, we're excited. We're gonna keep doing that type of stuff. It's a blast. You can find us at Pavex coming up. We're gonna be there in this off season. Sounds like we're gonna be back to World of Asphalt as well, and also sounds like we're gonna be at Dirt World Summit again. So really
Good.
excited to make the rounds and hang out. If you see us out and about, come up and say hi. I'd love to get to know you.
Let's do
It's
it.
gonna be fantastic.
You and I should think we're gonna be at Dirt World also in a pretty big way. We should think about trying to do something together. Maybe figure it
Yeah,
out. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Some kind of do something good. Marry them up. Maybe we do a day of a joint show or something. I don't know. Maybe we just hammer people around on the trade show floor.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we could bring we'll figure it out. That'd be fun. We did one. You've seen like the NFL where they mic them up,
Yeah.
and like it's how they got Peyton Manning saying, "Just do the block, just do whatever," when he was like crazy pissed. And then you'll get funny ones and whatnot. We did that a couple years ago at Ignite Construction Summit, and we just had people. We'd ask them questions and whatnot, and it'd be some funny stuff or whatever. I love doing those types of bits where
Yeah,
we come
that's
up and
fun.
we're like, I love. I'm pretty good at. I have a good poker face, so I'll be up like, "Hey, I'm here with so and so. We're gonna ask you a very serious question. Are you okay with that?" And most of the time, they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be about business," and I'll just ask some random funny ass question, and they look at you like, "Dude, okay, yeah." That's one of my favorite things because they really get anxious, and then there's just this huge relief, and they give you the genuine answer to whatever the funny question was. So yeah, let's do something like that. That'd be great.
That would be fun. That's cool. We'll kick it around that. We have plenty of time. What is it? November? It'll be around. It'll be here. It'll
Yeah.
feel like 2 weeks went by. You
Yeah.
your
God,
summer.
I hope so. God, I
Yeah.
hope so. Yeah. I'm in for a long summer. God, I hope it only feels like 2 weeks.
So I got a couple of rapid questions for you, all
Hmm.
related to different things you can answer quickly. I'll
Okay.
shoot them out to you. Give me your gut instinct
All
first.
right.
First
First thing
reaction
comes in
answer.
my head. Okay.
Yep. What's the best advice you ever received on a construction site?
Get out of the way.
That's great. What's your go-to safety tip for newbies?
Get out of the way.
That could be good too.
Yes. All right.
All right, you got to pick one.
Okay.
Skyscraper, a bridge, or a tunnel.
Oh, tunnel.
How come?
I like tunnels. I know. I like that. I like feeling the underground. I used to. These are rapid fire questions, right? But you asked a follow up one. Here in Wisconsin, you get those big snow mounds when you're a kid, and then you dig
Mhm.
into them, right? And you can
Oh
make
yeah.
igloos out of it. Dude, it takes me back every time.
We used to do that in upstate New York too. You get some big snow up there.
Yeah.
We would dig all kinds of caves, but you got to wait for it to get, you got to have that perfect kind of snow where it's like kind of wet and you can pack it in real
Yup.
good.
Yeah. You get in there sometimes you're like, what if this collapses on me? And
Yeah.
you're like, well, that was fun. And you just
Yeah.
kind of climb
Out
out. You're
I
like, I
go.
don't want to think about that. Yeah, yeah. As soon as
Yeah.
that thought enters your brain, you're like, ah, I'm getting out of here.
All right. Last question. What's the most underrated skill in the construction industry? Most underrated skill to have?
Oh, I would want to say communication. I think the people that communicate with their team um, do very, very well. And I don't necessarily mean here's the task, this is how you do it. I mean talking to them, right? It creates bonds, it creates camaraderie, creates loyalty, helps people with mental health, right? Knowing that somebody is there and genuinely cares. And the only way you can genuinely care about somebody is you have genuine conversations and really, really communicate well. For me, the people that do that well um, succeed, no matter what position they're in.
And I would add too, you have to have those genuine conversations, but you also have to genuinely care.
Oh, for sure.
You can't just have a conversation
Yeah. What'd you do
and
this weekend?
not
Well,
care.
whatever, whatever. Well, that's good. Bye. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, dude, don't go down the list. Like,
Yeah.
ask them some stuff. Get to know them.
It's worse. It's worse. You better off not even doing it.
Well, believe me, for sure. Yeah, that's true.
Well, Marvin, what's the best way for folks to connect with you, help you, find you? Where's the,
Yeah,
aside from Blacktop Banter podcast, which I know you can see on all platforms, and
true.
definitely you have a great YouTube channel too. Yes, you can see the podcast on there, but there's some great shorts, clips, good info, great interviews.
Yeah.
Where else are you living that people should find you?
Yeah, man, we're everywhere. I really thoroughly enjoy LinkedIn. It's probably my favorite platform personally. I love to write. I write articles for Pavement Magazine and Allied Paving Equipment Magazine. I really highlight my friends and people within the industry. I love doing collabs with them. They never thought they would be in magazines, so it's fun to bring them in and have them write with me. But yeah, on social media, TikTok, Instagram, we love that. We're there quite a bit. Facebook, of course. You can always go to the website too, blacktopbanner.com, and find how to connect with us. My email's there. I think my phone number's on there too. So we're always available no matter what. Um, Nothing's off limits with us over here.
I love it, man. Well, you got a big fan and friend in me. Anything I can do to help you, man, please don't ever hesitate to ask. I'm here. Anything I can do that can help you work your magic, do your thing, whatever that is, don't hesitate to ask.
Sounds good, man. I really, really appreciate it. This is a blast.
Yeah, I loved it. This is a great conversation. I'm excited. I was interested to see where things would go and what we'd end up talking about. And I like the mix, man. I'm excited about it. So I'm looking
Good.
forward to people hearing it, and I'm excited to get it out.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Scott.
And if I'm up in Wisconsin this summer, maybe I'll come stripe some lines with you. I would probably prefer to golf in Wisconsin if I come up
Hmm.
there, but I don't know if I'll have time for that. But it'd be fun if I come up. I'll definitely look you up.
Well, we got time. We got a little course here, a municipal course. My golf cart is in a storage unit right next to it. We'll jump in and go.
Nice. I love it. All right, everybody. I really appreciate you guys jumping on, taking a listen. Please share this episode, share the show, support both Marvin and I, subscribe to our YouTube channels, follow us on LinkedIn. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you guys, and God bless you. Have a great week.